Welcome to another installment of Veterans Affairs with Dennis Anderson. I'm Dennis Anderson. I'm an Army veteran and a veterans advocate. And although we are not affiliated in any way with the VA, what we are here to talk about is things that do matter to veterans and their families and the ones who love them. So our guest today is Mr. Michael Bertell. Mike, you're president of Pt1 Ministries, and your chapter is in the Antelope Valley of Southern California. Tell me a little bit about what Pt1 is and what it does.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for asking me on. Pt1 basically is a veterans support group, and it is called formally Pt1 International Ministries. And it has grown to be a worldwide ministry. And there are outposts throughout the United States and worldwide. And it's a support group that helps veterans that have had a lot of stress, post-traumatic stress through the years. And it will help them with spiritual, physical, and mental needs.
Sometimes it's what in the profession we call the talking cure. Is that about accurate?
Right. We feel comfortable in our meetings. When I joined originally, started going to the meetings, I was quiet. Sat there the whole time, sipped on coffee, and didn't say anything for several meetings. And then one day, the guy next to me says, my name is so-and-so, and I was in the 101st Airborne. And all of a sudden, the weight from my shoulders left.
Okay.
And I go, you were there, I was too.
Okay.
And it's that camaraderie in Pt1 that makes people feel comfortable. And once you feel comfortable in the group and feel that they're sincere and not going to talk about you or anything, just let yourself go, because every GI carries something on their shoulders that they've got to let go.
And I would add to that, I think I've seen Marines, Navy, Air Force, Army, but the main thing I've seen is a fair amount of PTSD talk is talked over in that room.
Absolutely.
And confidentiality, what about that?
What we say in that room stays in that room. So you're comfortable with whatever you say. No, it doesn't release from the AO.
So the founder's idea, really early in the age when PTSD had first been diagnosed, which was way back in the 1980s.
Correct, yeah.
He had a feeling that there would be trust in the room if it was veterans talking to veterans.
Well, that was one of the problems when you got back from Vietnam, is you had no one to communicate with. Because people that ask something about it, you could talk to your blue in the face, but they still don't know what you're talking about.
I remember you telling me that when you got home from Vietnam, after what I might say was a very hard combat tour, that you got a lot of blank stares from families, from former friends.
Yeah. Nobody really asked me what I did, but I would go to my room where I left a year ago and sit there and stare out the window. They call it a 1,000-yard stare, and I just stare day after day after day. And finally, my dad says something to a friend and says, he's not the same as when he left.
Correct.
And you're not. Vietnam has rewired your mind.
Combat does rewire the combat veteran's mind. And we're going to be back in another installment to talk about some more of this. But if I take it correctly, Mike, your experience has been that when you began to talk about it, you began to heal.
You bet. That's where the healing begins.
And that's what we want for veterans, whether you are a veteran of the Vietnam War, of the post-9/11 conflicts. We want you to find places where you can meet with your brothers and sisters, where you can share what you experienced without fear of judgment. And Pt1 Ministries International is one of the many venues that will help you do that. So we'll be back again, and thank you very much. And if you care about the work, we'd like you to subscribe.